Okay, so our first speaker up, you may have heard of him. His name's Mark Ackers. He originally was working for Refract that exited to Allego, which was a sales enablement platform. He's also a published author, so co-published the book Problem Prospecting, which if you haven't got that in your SDRs or AE hands, Problem Prospecting, I highly recommend you check it out. It's very up to date, very valuable, very useful. With the Sales Confidence Network's help and a bunch of other partners, his company, My Sales Coach, provide one-to-one coaching to you as leaders in your team. And as part of the Sales Confidence membership, if you join the membership, you get access to one-to-one coaching via My Sales Coach. But tonight, he's going to be talking about the state of the SDR market. Round of applause, Mark Ackers.
It's attached on, is it?
That needs to stay on.
I'll press it. So, like all fun sales leader get-togethers, tonight is going to start with a load of data. Yeah, you're probably all wishing you grabbed that extra beer now. I do rely heavily on notes tonight because there's a lot of data. I've got a terrible memory, and I'm just not very good at remembering things clearly. So, we're looking down here and up here. But just to give some context, My Sales Coach Q4 last year, we carried out what I'm led to believe the biggest ever independent survey of SDRs. 1,069 SDRs took part. It was an anonymous survey. We collected the data. Tonight, I'm going to share just a few headlines. At the very end, you can all grab a free copy, ungated copy of the full report. Spoiler alert, the headlines are grim, but I do believe the answer to how to fix this is in the data as well, and that's what I'm going to be sharing tonight. So here's the headlines. Only 1 in 12 SDRs describe their role as very fulfilling. That makes me really sad. I used to be an SDR. I used to love that role. So seeing only 1 in 12 describe that as very fulfilling makes me really sad. 66% said they felt the role was getting harder. But despite all of that, not finding it fulfilling, finding it and getting harder, majority are committed to a career in sales. In fact, only 10% said they didn't believe they'd be in sales in 5 years' time. However, that doesn't mean they're committed to working for you. In fact, 48% of SDRs in this survey said they're going to leave their employer inside the next 12 months. And that was the back end of last year. So time is running out. As I say, though, I think you can fix it. The clues are here. Let me share this with you. So first of all, just to bring to life what I was talking about there, we said, do you think you'd be an employer in 12 months' time? 52% said yes. The rest, unsure, no. 2.7% would rather not tell us. I think we know what that means. Raise of hands, is anyone here excited to go on a recruitment drive? Not a single hand. Oh, yeah, Elaine. You'll be downloading the report. I mean, recruitment's probably the worst part of the job. I hate it. So we asked them as part of this survey, what at some point have you struggled with in the role? These are the typical challenges that we see when coaching SDRs at My Sales Coach. They could select as many as apply. As you can see from the data, anxieties over results and cold calling were in the top 2. Lack of confidence was really high, 57%. Almost 50% of SDRs saying they struggle with imposter syndrome. And although the percentages are really smaller, I found it really alarming. 1 in 7 SDRs said they'd experienced inappropriate behaviour from a prospect and a similar amount from a colleague. And the stats are just quite scary, really, but very real for the SDRs that took part. We then said, okay, being an SDR is really hard. What of the following is your biggest challenges that you personally face as an SDR? This is what the 1,069 SDRs told us was their biggest challenges in order. Unsurprisingly, 22% said high performance and targets was their #1 challenge. The second most popular answer was lack of coaching. That is your first clue to fixing this. We then looked at what the SDRs put as their top 3. So we took everything as like, what are your top 3 #1 challenges? Again, high performance expectations sat right at the top. Like half of SDRs put that in their top 3. Almost half, with 40%, put lack of coaching. Then it's insufficient and poor quality leads. 1 in 4 SDRs put in their top 3 challenges burnout. That really surprised me, and that is quite worrying. That's a very high number. The other one that surprised me is right at the bottom, tech stack. I know most people in this room will put a lot of emphasis on having the right tech stack for their SDRs to support them, but it's interesting that they don't seem to value it as much as these big challenges that they're facing. So now let's talk about these challenges. Let's talk about high performance and expectations. We asked if personally, year to date, if they were on target. We got almost 30% being over target, exactly a third on target, and almost 40% of the SDRs completed the survey were under target, which will explain why high expectations, anxieties over results sat so high. We then said, how much coaching do you get? Because we know as sales leaders, that's one of our top priorities. Like 74% of organizations rate coaching as a manager's top priority. So we asked, well, how much coaching do you actually get from your manager to hit the goals that they've asked you to hit? Because if you don't hit them, you lose your job. You can see here, 40% said they got frequent coaching, 31% said they got some coaching. Disappointingly, 28% said they got never or almost never received coaching from their manager. But how much coaching do they want? We wanted to check that as well. So we asked them, nearly 82% want more coaching, and that includes the people that get frequent high quality coaching. Quite frankly, the SDRs are craving coaching from their manager because they've got goals to hit, and if they don't hit those goals, they're going to lose their jobs. It really is that simple. So now let's start looking for the answers. Let's start mapping this all together. We looked at the amount of coaching they receive, and we mapped it against how fulfilled they feel in the role of an SDR. The fulfillment in the role correlates so strongly to how much coaching you give them. In yellow, that is none or little coaching. If the SDR got none or little coaching, only 29% of SDRs felt fulfilled in the role. As the graph climbs, that's more coaching and frequent and high quality coaching. If they got frequent high quality coaching, 74% of SDRs say they feel fulfilled in the role. We then did the same exercise and we mapped the amount of coaching they get versus performance. Again, correlates so strongly. You remember 61% told us they were on or above target, summarizing the data a little bit here, but that drops to 53% being on target if they got little to no coaching. So little to no coaching, 53% on target. Again, you can see it climbs. If you give them frequent high quality coaching, 70% were over or on target. Massive correlation. And then finally, we mapped the amount of coaching received against if they're going to stay with their employer in 12 months' time. Only a third of SDRs, if they get little to no coaching, thought they'd be with you in 12 months' time, whereas 75% of SDRs, they got frequent high-quality coaching, said they'd be with their employer in 12 months' time. A huge swing. So the takeaways, if you provide your SDR with frequent high-quality coaching, you'll get SDRs that feel fulfilled in the role. Their biggest challenges of high expectation, lack of coaching, burnout remedied, because that's all linked. SDR's biggest worries about lack of confidence, anxieties over results reduced. You'll get SDRs that hit or exceed targets, and you'll get SDRs that want to stay with you for longer. Still not convinced? Countless studies show the impact of coaching. Here's just some of them. Again, I can share this with all of you afterwards. If you're not sure where to start and you want to start coaching your SDRs, I can certainly give some advice. I've only got 7 minutes and James's eyes are burning into my face. This is where I'd start. Team call coaching. Get your team together, play some call recordings, coach them. Start with your own calls. Put yourself in the spotlight. Let them listen to your calls. A session like this is my team. Run this every week. It takes 90 minutes. 90 minutes is 4% of your time as a sales leader. If you cannot find 4% of your time to coach your team, you really need to rethink your priorities. Like the data is just there. That brings me to the end. What I have done is, if you want to scan that QR code, pub quiz question, that stands for quick response. I only learned that recently. But quick response code, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can send me a DM. If you want a copy of the report, next time I'm online, won't be tonight, I'll send you a free copy of the report, totally ungated, and you've got that. There's loads more data in there. And that is me. Good? Cheers. Thank you.